Oh yeah. I think I did it. I tried to do the audio in my audio at the same time. So on it's Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. This Wednesday, January 21st of the year 2026, if you can believe it, is oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Just setting up for my show. That's right, Darren Hupke. Sorry, I should have done that. I should have done my bit. Uh, Pretend I'm just starting. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Sorry, I was just reading Ghost House for the Sega card on the Sega Master System. One of my favorite video games, particularly because of the story. Let me tell you a little bit about Ghost House, a spooky romp through Count Dracula's incredible haunted house. You're Mick, and the good news is that your grandfather just told you that you're to inherit the family jewels. It's good stuff. A flashy collection of diamonds, rubies, sapphires, and even opals. Now you have a friend in the diamond business, the Shane Company, located in Novato, Cupertino, and San Ramon. The bad news is they're all hidden inside of Count Dracula's mansion, and they have been for years. Well, anyway, this isn't the time for Ghost House. This is the time for... it kind of is the time for Ghost House. I think I read Ghost House, though, so we're not going to do Ghost House. Ghost House, you're wonderful. I'm shaking the cartridge on. Hello, Jules VZ, excuse me. Welcome to chat. DevPods GG is here. Darren Hupke is here. Thank you so much. Look at this. Look at this. I have one beef with Nintendo Switch cartridges and Switch 2 cartridges. I think they're a little too small. I think that we should add a little heft to them, make them maybe the size of the Sega card, and release Ghost House so we can go collect those family jewels on your Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch 2 video game system. Anyway, it's Wednesday. Hi. So there's a lot going on in the world. We'll get to some manuals. Yeah, thank you so much for popping in, Jules VZ. We'll try to make it fun. I promise it has been a heck of a week. I'll put it that way, and I won't just sit here and be maudlin about it. I will talk a little bit more later on in the show probably about it, just for my own sake. My dad passed away last week, Tuesday night of last week, after I think an amazing life. I think he was quite happy with his life, and I was so happy to be around him for it. He was a great dad, but he passed away after a couple of years of complications resulting from a stroke back in 2022. So I wasn't going to do this stream today initially. I skipped last week. I actually thought last week I was going to just dive in. The moment something like that happens, a few hours after he had passed away, I thought maybe I could do a stream. I just go for it. And then I realized very quickly, no, let's skip. So I was going to skip this time too. But then I thought about something that my dad always used to do. So my dad hosted a TV show here in the Bay Area, a number of different TV shows over the years. And what I found was, I remember talking with him once about what I'm sorry, I'm saying a lot. How he dealt with going up on there and being his kind of best TV self, his most jovial self, because his whole thing was being like a jovial, easygoing dude who people like to hang out with. How did he do that even when he didn't want to or didn't feel like it? And he always said it was sort of like exercise, right? Like you don't really always want to do it, but he always felt that once he had done it, once he had gotten up there, and once he had fun, because this was the thing that he loved to do, it was always the right move, and he felt good about that. So I guess I'm kind of trying that today. So we'll see how it goes. I wasn't going to do it, but I really love these manuals. I love it, and I'm so grateful to anybody who has opted to join, as I said, either today or just forever. So I'll show a little clip of an old episode of Mac and Muttley, which he did a long time ago, which to me is sort of quintessential my dad. But that'll be the end of the episode, because first, we're going to read some video game. Man, my eyes are so like red right now. I'm a little sick, I think, too. So please bear with me, my red eyes. I should have had some red eye drops. But anyway, this has been the Spindrift Memorial of the Week. I will say, I joke. Spindrift is not sponsoring my father's memorial. Although I started looking at some places for memorials because my dad I loved attention, and we loved giving it to him, but he loved attention. So we're like, okay, we'll do a memorial and try to make it a thing that's reasonably big, so people he worked with through his life or people that he had touched through his work could join. And boy, costs start to add up fast, kind of not unlike a wedding. So we'll see where that goes. So Spindrift, perhaps if you do want to officially sponsor a memorial. The official drink of grief. Okay. Anyway, sorry. So when he had passed, I'll just make one more thing. When my dad had passed, we went over. My mom and my brother and I. We all live in the Bay Area. We're all close by, so that was really nice. But we went in there and we were there with him after he had passed, and there's tears and there's conversation and everything, but we very quickly turned to making jokes and laughing. And I worry that the people in the care home where he had passed who thought we were psychos, because we're sitting there making jokes and laughing a ton. But I think if I'm a little extra punchy today or goofy today, just know, please, I think that's part of my process. So just bear with me. But you don't have to bear with me for long, folks, because we're going to let the manuals do the heavy lifting. Now, another thing to note is that I forgot to actually set anything up for this episode, so bear with me for one more second as I go to the manual section here in my OBS, and I bring up Bad Dudes. Bad Dudes is a manual that I've actually read, I believe, on the show before, perhaps a long time ago, before I was showing the manual on the screen. This is not a visually spectacular manual, but I thought it would be fun in 2026 to imagine a world where the president got kidnapped, and wait for it, and within that world, that's a bad thing. So we're entering the world of fantasy, wherein the president is worth saving, and perhaps not just straight up kidnapping. So we'll see what happens in the Bad Dudes manual. Let's go ahead. And I also think this manual might have a blood stain in it. I'm not totally sure. This manual I've taken from digitpress.com. Digitpress, the Internet Archive, and Sega Retro are fantastic websites. There's a few others that I use regularly for these. So thank you to those folks for putting these up, and for whoever put the blood stain in the Bad Dudes manual down here. So I'm going to zoom in. We're going to probably do a little bit of a back and forthing, I think, with this one, because it's pretty small otherwise. So here we go. Yes, Jules VZ, that's right. What a world this would be if we lived in a world where the president was worth saving. So there you go, the Nintendo seal of quality. That's how you know this game is going to be good. Despite the title, these dudes are not bad. They're great. Data East brings you arcade realism at home. The president kidnapped? Go? But the really bad news, again, fantasy world, but the really bad news is that the Dragon Ninja is responsible, and you alone can rescue the president from his clutches. The Dragon Ninja has a helicopter waiting to spirit the president away. If he makes his, we thought last night for a little bit that his spirit might have been going away when Air Force One had to return. But alas, and I make no judgment about this officially, and Spindrift makes no judgment about this officially. Alas, he did not perish. He's still there. To embarrass us in Davos. If he makes his getaway before you can stop him, the world will never see the president again. I'm wondering if there's a GoFundMe for the Dragon Ninja to support him in his cause. The Dragon Ninja will be ready for you. You can expect to face, at the very least, wave after wave of ninja henchmen, samurai, and super warriors as you make your way through city and forest, atop moving big rigs and freight trains. Remember, the nation is counting on you. Please pay tribute to the small blood strain. Andrew Elmore, thank you so much for joining. Critical support for the Dragon Ninja, that's exactly right. Space Astrocat, hello. Darren Hupke points out that might be a bloody booger. That might be a bloody booger, actually. You're right. That has all the hallmarks of a bloody booger. There we go. I don't know what else to say about the bloody booger, but I hope we see more of it. Controller parts and operating instructions. There you go. Look up, duck, move right, move left. I think as a society, we should all start hitting this left button a little bit more, because I think it's time to move pretty far to the left from where we are right now. How to play to start Bad Dudes. I think it's cool that the game is called Bad Dudes. We need more games called Bad Dudes recently. Pausing, continuing. Don't worry too much about this. You know how this works. You got your objects to pick up an object. Press down. You got your nunchuck, your knife, your energy, your extra time, and your spike. You take a hit when you step on a spike, jump over them, or kick them. That's what I do. Whenever I see a spike on the ground, I'm kicking it, or I'm jumping over it. So there you go. You get some points for different things. Blue ninja, white ninja, dwarf ninja, red ninja, flaming ninja, lady ninja, okay, dog, samurai, super warrior, and completing a level. For 500 points for each second left on the clock. That's pretty impressive. So there you go. Your screen display. Don't worry. There's stage descriptions. That's why I picked up this manual. We're always kicking spikes. There we go. Briefing. The city. Once you step outside, your life is in danger. It's America 2026. FBI informants from all over the city have reported spotting the Dragon Ninja's henchmen. Information the FBI has in its files about the warriors makes it clear they're not all alike. They train in different skills, so don't expect the tactics that work on one group to work on all of them. I'm not trusting the FBI here. Kash Patel's given us some information. Not really sure I'm going to be listening to it here for my briefing. You need to travel light, so you won't be taking any weapons with you. This is like the beginning of... oh my god. I've completely lost track of the things that I was going to say. The words I was going to use have all left. Metal Gear Solid, that's right. You have to go pick up your weapons in the field, just like in Metal Gear Solid. I was playing Metal Gear Solid on the Switch the other day, and I gotta say, like, that game still looks so good. The old Metal Gear Solid PlayStation style with kind of the wobbly textures and everything. It is just such a gorgeous freaking game. It's very wonky at times to play, but man, that game is cool. But keep an eye out for knives and nunchucks. I think it's a little better than Bad Dudes, just as an opinion of mine. Hope that's not too intense to say, but I would say that Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation is holds up a little bit better than Bad Dudes on the Nintendo. But keep an eye out for knives, and I think politically too, right? Doesn't Metal Gear Solid, isn't the, spoiler alert, isn't the president a bad guy? See, I think they knew. Kojima knew that presidents were bad guys way before Data East knew that the president was not worth saving from a kidnapping attempt. You can carry only one weapon at a time and lose the weapon you're carrying when you lose a life. At the rate I'm going, we're never going to finish this manual. Okay, there has also been a rumor that Karnov is in town. Karnov is a one-time circus strongman who has a unique talent for shooting fireballs from his mouth. His reasons for joining forces with the Dragon Ninja aren't clear. You'll find him much more difficult to defeat than anyone else you encounter in the city. This is like back when sitcoms would have crossover episodes. It's very exciting. It's very exciting. Chiptunes? Do I have chiptunes in the background? What do I have in the background? Andrew Elmore. Hold on. Did I? You know what? Oh, shit. You know what? Did I? Hold on. I made music. I did music stuff. Oh, my God. You know what I did? So usually... Hold the phone. Usually... No. What the heck? Chiptunes? Yeah, the music I did last week was for the Dragon. Was for the other game. Are you hearing chiptunes? You're not hearing Wavebeam? We should be hearing Andrew Elmore's... Oh, I get it. Wait. Ah. I'm so glad you said something. You guys need to tell me. I can't hear anything. Thank you, Elmore. Thank you, Andrew Elmore. Good God. Yes. You were hearing... What you were hearing a moment ago was Wavebeam from Andrew Elmore, which is awesome stuff and can be picked up over here at satellitesound.net. Pull that over there, satellitesound.net. Or I think, right? Or did I mess up the URL again? But yeah, but last week I used music from a Game Boy game, and I think I just left it there. So see, this is what happens. I think I paused it though. There we go. It still is also play. Okay, here we go. All right, we're back to the vibes. Back to the vibes. We're reading. Thank you so much for saying something. You guys have to know this. I am, at best, not good at keeping track of all the different things in OBS and what I'm supposed to be doing. So you have to know that if something seems a little strange, aside from just me having a tough time staying focused, please let me know. I can't hear them. I don't know what's going on. And I don't know how computers work. So thank you very much. The Big Rig. Hopping a big rig is a good way of getting out of town fast, but be prepared. The Dragon Ninja has trained his troops in daring assault tactics. His ninjas will no doubt attack you from all sides. Make your way to the front of the truck. Whatever you do, take care when you jump from one trailer to another and from the front trailer to the cab. If you fall off the truck, you'll take a hit and lose time. When you get to the cab, the driver will stop the truck to let you off. Watch out, that's a dangerous moment. The Dragon Ninja will no doubt have one of his super warriors lying in wait for you. Drink every time he says no doubt. The sewer. You'll find yourself next in a large storm sewer. We always are these days. You can follow the path along the water's edge, or you can use ledges above it. Needless to say, stay out of the water. At the end of the sewer, you'll encounter another of the Dragon Ninja's super warriors. The forest. The sewer leads you to the forest. See, this is one of those things that the EPA is supposed to be protecting against, but not anymore. The Dragon Ninja has let loose another pack of rabid dogs there. If you're agile enough to walk along the tall hedges in the forest, you can keep away from them up there. At the far edge of the forest, you'll have to do battle with one of the super warriors before you can continue. The freight train. Hop one of the freight trains that travels the old Southern and Pacific line and take you to the vicinity of the factory where the Dragon Ninja is holding the president. Make your way to the engine. Be careful as you jump from one car to the next. One of the Dragon Ninja's super warriors is known to be commanding the hordes that are keeping watch on the freights that travel the Southern and Pacific line. Once the ninjas report your presence to him, you can be sure you'll have to deal with him before you reach the end of the line. I'm gonna lose my hair. I got a haircut and it kind of looks like a helmet right now. The cave. The factory where the Dragon Ninja is holding the president is impregnable from ground level. Impregnable. But there's a secret cave that leads to the very heart of the factory. The Dragon Ninja hasn't had a chance to fortify it as does the rest of the factory, but you can be sure that he keeps it under close guard and that he'll throw all the manpower he has at you when you enter it. The cave has an unusual natural hazard too, falling stalactites. The stalactites, something like stone icicles. This is in the 80s, every kid had to learn about stalactites and stalagmites. So it's good that they define it here. Formed over centuries as water dripping slowly from the ceiling of the cave deposited minerals there. Many of the stalactites are only loosely attached to the ceiling of the cave and can fall without warning. I like that. The factory, finally we're here. By the time you reach the factory, some of the super warriors you've defeated earlier will have a chance to return to the factory to reinforce it. Your first objective when you reach the factory is the elevator, which will take you to the second floor. The elevator is guarded by one of the super warriors and you'll have to defeat him before you use it. When you reach the second floor, make your way to the Dragon Ninja's helicopter. He'll no doubt try to take off with the president aboard as soon as he senses you're near. You may have to jump to the hovering helicopter's runners and do battle with the Dragon Ninja there. You don't need the Secret Service to tell you that the Dragon Ninja will be your most challenging opponent. Be ready for a fierce battle. And remember, you must defeat him at all costs to save the president. So that's your opportunity really to say, is this worth it or not? And I don't know if we have to do that. But there you go. Yes, DevPods GG, part of the quicksand training. That's true. It is. It's part of the quicksand training that they don't do anymore. Thinks it's because that previous generations went outside. Yeah, previous generations went outside, so they had to know the dangers of quicksand. Kids growing up in the 80s never went outside again. So yeah, it's a nice fantasy world, isn't it? It's a nice fantasy world where the president is worth saving, and we wouldn't all take a day off work to drink some champagne if he in fact did totally disappear. So let's read a little bit more about society with Revolution X. This is the Sega Saturn version of the Revolution X game. Pause for drink. Stalactites are the ones that fall on you. That's right. Stalagmites are the one you fall on. They missed an opportunity in the last manual. They talked about stepping on spikes. You could have been stepping on stalagmites all along. But try as you stalagmite. We're moving on to Revolution X. It's about X, the Everything app. I wish it were, and you're just destroying it the way that you destroy the bad guys in this game. Music is the weapon, and we're going in here with Aerosmith to kill Grok and punch Elon Musk in the throat. How about that? Let's do it. Let's go. Revolution X. Music is the weapon. It's rated M for music, presumably. We've got the story. Get ready to rock and options. So here's the scoop, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the scoop. As rock band Aerosmith loves to say, here's the scoop. Something devastating is about to happen. The world is about to be unified under one oppressive governing body, the New Order Nation, a corrupt alliance of government and big business set on crushing today's youth and destroying anything that's at all fun. It's a gruesome regime held under the iron rule of Headmistress Helga, a vicious vamp whose obvious attractions are truly fatal, and enforced by battalions of evil, leather-clad troops. I will say, I think maybe one problem. I don't want to be one of those people who thinks that media and stories and art all have to conform to a sense of good or bad, or that we have to make sure that it's clear that the bad guys are really bad. Like, we can read between the lines on things. I will say, I think one thing that if I could go back in time and maybe change is I think we should stop making villains look cool or sound cool and fun, because they're really just dopey idiots, right? And that's a lot less cool. I wonder if people would have some of the people who are doing problems right now, I just wonder if we would like fear them less or be less in awe of them if we didn't also think of villains as these incredible characters. I don't know. Revolution X though, cool villains, and a truly evil, vicious vamp in Headmistress Helga. I think Andrew Elmore asks, is the game rated M for literally other than the cleavage on the poster? No, I think that when you shoot guys, and when you shoot them with the CDs maybe in specific, there's blood? I don't, and maybe language, right? Doesn't Aerosmith don't they occasionally say like, shit? Could I say that? Can I say that on my stream? Don't they sometimes say shit? And maybe ass? What else could they say? I don't think that they say the F word, but I think they might say shit sometimes. No, I don't know. It does sort of sound like a T rating to me too, but I don't know. Psycock's here. What's up? Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. Happy Wednesday. Got a new laptop. They can say piss. They can say heck. They can say dag nabbit. As the story unfolds, you learn that America's premier rock band, Aerosmith, have been abducted from the hottest club in Los Angeles, Club X, by New Order Nation forces. And that is just the beginning. Their message is clear. The party's over. It's now up to you. You're the only one who can stop destruction, and music is your weapon. Surrounded by enemy helicopters and armored personnel carriers brimming with psychotic New Order stormtroopers wielding some really wicked weaponry, it's going to take a lot of shooting to fight your way out of this one. Let's go. Take aim with your sonic assault weapon, the auto-load multi-CD launcher, and blast the fuck out of those treacherous tyrants to restore life as we know it. Let's do it. Should send some CD launchers to wherever ICE is deploying. It's a roller coaster ride through some extremely tough scenarios as you uncover what's really going on at the Evergreen Chemical Company in the heart of the Amazon jungle. Battle to stop the bus that's taking people to Brainwash Central to reorient them for the new society, and conquer Chemitech, where they're making mind-altering drugs. Oh, Aerosmith hates mind-altering drugs. There's no question about that. All must be destroyed before you can find Aerosmith and help set them free for a celebratory concert at London's Wembley Stadium. There are hidden obstacles at every turn, skeletons in every closet. Whatever you do, don't give up. Hell yeah, let's go. Crazy is a good song. Crazy is a good song. Crazy It was Aerosmith had that threesome of crazy, crying, and amazing. Great stuff. Great stuff. Get a grip. One of the first albums I bought alongside the no, you know what? No, one of the first CDs that I ever was given. I got a boombox, and I got some CDs, and the CDs that I got were Aerosmith's "Get a Grip" and the Lion King soundtrack, and I think shortly thereafter the soundtrack to The Rock. The Rock has become a tourist attraction. That's my impression. Now you are the man dog. And then I bought Dookie. That gives you a sense of how old I am. I'm 75 years old. I feel it today. You can see my eye is like. What's cool about weird stuff like that, like your eye kind of doing this, is like you just know when you're looking at it. You're like, I'm 42 right now. It's only going to get more pronounced. So by the time I'm like in my 50s, it's going to be like down to the floor, which is great. I think it's cool because there's one thing that I've learned about our bodies: they only get better as we get older. So configure buttons, game features. The objective is pretty simple: shoot everything in sight, free all captives, and don't get wasted in the process. You score extra points for the amount of destruction you do, so shoot freely. There you go. That is the way we do it. You got a CD counter. CDs are so cool. You got silver CDs, which is worth 3 CDs. Gold CDs are worth 10 CDs. Your super gun does the damage of 5 regular bullets. Flaming laser discs cause more damage than a standard CD, and as they should. Shield protects you for 35 hits. You got the Skull Bomb, which is the most awesome weapon in your arsenal. Wastes all enemies on screen and even totals New Order vehicles. Wheatgrass Shakes, guaranteed to give you plenty of pep. Woo. Down a couple of these and watch your energy meter rise. And then wings. To really rule at Revolution X and to make a ton of bonus points in the process, you've got to earn your wings, all 5 of them. Wings are awarded when you find and free a member of Aerosmith. Man. That's right, Jules. You only get more power as you age, and that is very true. You get more power, you become more nimble, and it's easier to learn things. I think that's cool. You don't need to sleep all that often. That's a good. One thing that's weird about sleep is like, so you go from being a baby and you sleep all the time, and then you're a teenager and you like don't want to sleep, but then you need to sleep like crazy hours. When you become, I've noticed from other, my parents and stuff, that people get to a point where they like don't sleep at all. They go to bed and then they wake up at 5 and they're like, well, I'm awake, so I'm just going to get up. And I don't understand that. I presume that's going to happen to me too. But then when they become really old, they just sleep constantly. So I don't know where I was going with this, other than, oh yes, you only get more power as you age. Just a question. I don't know. Anyway, the spin drift attraction of the week for that one, I don't know where I was going with that, but that's what we got. That's where I'm at today. At the end of each level, who cares? Let's read about the levels. It's almost showtime at Club X. The band is getting ready to go on stage. Security are waiting to open the doors. The excitement is building when suddenly, out of nowhere, you hear the ominous whir of an assault helicopter. Tension rises and excitement mounts. In no time at all, they've taken over. The new order, dedicated to stopping fun in all forms, has seized power. Watch out for the enemy transporter. It's tough to stop it. Once you're inside the club, check out the bathroom. It's full of surprises. That is right. The lobby is swarming with non-droogs. We should say droogs more often. Try to make your way into the bar and free the girls. Aerosmith are ready to rock, but the New Order are trying to cancel the show. You've got to fight back with everything you've got. The backstage scene is brutal. The New Order have succeeded in capturing Aerosmith. Shit. Your task is to hijack a non-helicopter and take off in search of the band's car, with an enemy chopper in hot pursuit. Load up on pickups wherever you can. You'll need them to exterminate the troops that are following you. Where you go from here is up to you. Once you've destroyed the chopper and found Aerosmith's car, you have to decide where to take the fight next. There are 3 different scenarios. You need to master all of them in order to save the world from eternal misery. A world without Aerosmith, it's not a world worth living in, I think, is what we're learning here. You got the Amazon jungle. Deep in the heart of the Amazon jungle, working under the cover of the Evergreen Chemical Company, the New Order are putting mind control chemicals in the world's food supply. They've already turned the once peaceful natives into crazed killers. You've got to fight your way inside the factory where you can expect an explosive reception. Explore your surroundings thoroughly and keep your eyes open for captives. And if you come across a gibbering giant green skull, just keep shooting. Jules says, I would, minus that last part about the natives, I would watch this as a movie as well. Someone should make a really serious, like, a really serious version of this as a movie that takes itself very seriously. And the trailer has like a downbeat version of Eat the Rich in it. I think that would be fantastic. Middle East. Oh boy, I'm more. Just listen. Sometimes we read manuals. I don't know what's going to happen when we read these manuals. Sometimes things happen. I don't know. So if this section has anything offensive in it, I apologize. By now, you'll have realized that the New Order Nation will go to any lengths to retain their tenuous grip on power, even if this means mass brainwashing the youth of today. That's why they bought CBS. Stop the express bus that ferries kids to Brainwash Central, the teen reorientation camp where they turn them into senseless drones willing to execute others on command. First, free as many captives as you can, then blast the bus back to the Stone Age, en route to solve the riddle of the Sphinx. To speed up or slow down, shoot at the buttons on the top left and the top right of the screen. Pacific Rim. We're going to do some drifting. Chemitech is yet another front for the Non. This warehouse facility is on an island out in the Pacific Rim, where their mind-altering chemicals are manufactured and stored. It's crawling with ninjas in yellow jackets, so don't let up on the trigger. You need to find your way out around the warehouse, keeping an eye out for hidden advantages. Once you've cleared the place, it's time to visit the executive suites. When you get there, you'll find that the head honcho is a really nasty piece of work. By the time he's done morphing into an even nastier version of himself, complete with some pretty fearsome weaponry, you'll be wishing you were back in Kansas. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, they did. Jules is point. Yes, there's times in some of these manuals where you're like, well, things were written a little bit differently back then. Finally, you've beaten them at their own game. We're at Wembley Stadium now. Aerosmith is free. Now it's time to celebrate with a sold-out concert at London's Wembley Stadium. But not just yet. Your task is to shoot down the onstage video monitors to get to Headmistress Helga, who's lurking behind them in the hopes of salvaging her miserable life in the New Order Nation. Now it's time to go one-on-one and find out what she's really made of, and it ain't pretty. All your fighting skills will be needed for this last brutal battle. Dig deep. Rally one more time and the payoff will be handsome. The party of a lifetime. Woo! It's sort of sad to imagine shooting out all these beautiful CRTs, but when you're fighting fascism, what are you going to do? Join Aero Force One, the official Aerosmith fan club. See if we can still get there today. You can get preferred concert tickets, travel packages, 24-hour hotline, band history, embossed ID card, metal pin, bumper sticker, autographed photo, quarterly newsletters, merchandise, and contests. You can charge by phone or by fax, 415-597-5500. That's here in the Bay Area. This is exciting. Or you can get an Aerosmith and Revolution X t-shirt for just $10.98 plus $3 shipping and handling. I'd wear that. If anybody knows, you can send a check or money order too if you're on the East Coast to Giant Merchandise at 5 Bigelow Street in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I got thrown off because on the East Coast, their zip codes start with a 0, apparently, which that's not a real place. Let's be honest. Zip codes have to start with 9. That's the answer. 6 to 8 weeks for delivery. Shoot. Well, we've missed our chance, just as a heads up. We've just missed our chance to get it. The offer has expired, unfortunately, by a couple of months. So that's too bad. Maybe next time. Maybe when they do a Revolution X2, we can get it. So thank you. That is a claim. Either you have it or you don't. NFL Quarterback Club. The Meek inherit squat. This is confusing. You either have it or you don't. The Meek inherit squat all the teams, all the top NFL quarterbacks, NFL Quarterback Club 96, survival of the fittest, all the players that count. There's a lot going on here, and this part in particular is confusing. I don't want to squat all the teams. That's a lot. I go to the gym, but I'm not ready to squat all the teams. So there you go. All right, that's the second manual. Now we'll get one more manual under our belts for today. But before we do that one, I just want to note, so video game manuals for the consoles, like that's where all the good stuff is. But every so often I'll look at video game manuals for arcades, right? So for like, the actual arcade operator's manual. And those are pretty dry. There's not usually too much exciting stuff. Sometimes you get some good artwork on the front, but you never get really good story stuff. At best, you'll get some descriptions of aspects of the game so the operator knows what's up. I did, however, like when I was looking at the Virtua Cop 2 owner's manual for the arcade machine, this guy right here. Don't shoot me, please. I like this guy a lot. So I think this is cool. You're an arcade operator, and you're greeted with this guy. I would be excited to start the game up right away. I would open the arcade early because of this. I think this is very cool. So don't shoot him, please. But look at this manual. This is what arcade manuals look like if you haven't looked at one before. They are very serious, very heavy duty. You don't get a lot of wrenches. You don't get a lot of like pictures of wrenches in video game manuals for consoles, right? So fuses. Ensure that ensure you got your fuses, controller, monitor adjustment, troubleshooting, credit settings. See, yeah, there's no story mode here, which is too bad. However, those of us lucky enough to have a Sega Saturn do get a story mode for Virtua Cop 2. Now, I did look at Virtua Cop 1, but Virtua Cop 1's tone was a little grim. It was like a little serious, and I wasn't really sure I wanted to do that. So to be very clear here, let's be very clear, ACAB. ACAB unfortunately includes these guys in Virtua Cop 2, but we're gonna let it slide today because they recently put out a very strong anti-ICE statement. So we're gonna let these guys slide. They said officially, the cops from Virtua Cops 2 said that everybody in ICE belongs in prison, and that they're all useless and not people we should have in our communities. So they also said if you know an ICE agent, make sure that they're uncomfortable all the time. Thank you. Mario did have a wrench at the back of the NES thing. That's true. Yeah, so Mario had a wrench, so I take it back. Video game manuals definitely do. Yep, sorry Virtua Cop. You guys are ACAB. So we're going to be reading this whole thing. I'll be doing this the whole time. Just so you guys know that I'm not in support of what the Virtua Cops are doing. Because they can say the right thing, but they're still part of the fraternal order of the police. And we know where they stand on things. So, trouble in Virtua City. Detective Janet Marshall is the new face on the force at the VCPD Special Investigations Unit. Her specialty is subject profiling. The analysis of every detail at a crime scene used to determine patterns of criminal behavior and personality types. Her acumen and expertise in the crime lab have made her reputation and put more than a few nasty customers behind bars. But last year, she lost her partner and mentor, Nick Anderson, while on a case. Janet left the lab to join the Special Investigations team this spring, allowing her to devote herself to tracking down Anderson's killers full-time. Janet is definitely her own woman, and some would say she's just plain stubborn, but nobody doubts her ability to crack tough cases. Janet Marshall is girl bossing through Virtua City, and the Good Old Boys Club doesn't love it, is what it sounds like to me. Last summer, the original Virtua Cops, Michael Rage Hardy and James Smarty Cools, shut down the EVL Inc. criminal empire. Probably could have gone with a different name, but before I continue here, hold on. I want to look. I have Virtua Cop 2 on the Sega Dreamcast. So it only came out on the Dreamcast. I think it came out in the Dreamcast on there's like a collection of games for the Dreamcast, but in Japan, it came out as just its own beautiful disc. I really like it. But I wanted to look at the manual for a second because I remember reading it and being, I think I'm thinking about the right thing, being very impressed by, I like in here, so we just talked about their names. Michael Rage Hardy and James Smarty Cools and Janet. I like in the manual here, you'll see that you've got that, and then it says Smarty over there. And here, we've got Rage. And then here, just Janet. So the three emotions that one can have if they're in if you're a cop, the three emotions that you can have: Rage, Smarty, and Janet. So there you go. Tag yourself. I'm a real Janet. Three of the head figures in the evil syndicate, company president Eldon Vile, security chief King, and gang leader Boss Kong, are cooling their heels in the maximum security federal pen. And the final member of the evil Gang of Four, international terrorist Joe Fang, is believed to have been killed in a helicopter crash, though his body was never recovered. Which I think is what we thought was happening last night when we were all hanging out on Blue Sky. After the downfall of EVL Inc., a comprehensive investigation of their black market and gun running activities was launched. The Virtua City Bank is under suspicion of involvement, oh my God, in an immense money laundering operation. See, they say bank local, but there's a risk. And the bank vice president has recently met with an untimely, accidental death. Following his death, a secret database was discovered showing periodical transfers. Should it be periodic transfers? Periodical transfers is when you put money inside of a magazine and give it to somebody else. Transfers of funds between EVL and the Virtua City Bank, but the money, equivalent to a small country's GNP, has somehow disappeared. Rage, Smarty, and Janet smell a rat, and it doesn't smell good. Some new danger threatens Virtua City. So it's time to pick up a gun and shoot everyone you see, I guess, is what the takeaway is. So there you go. You got this terrible controller. I stand firm in my belief that the Saturn controller, both the original one that came with the American release, then the one from Japan, and the 3D one, they're not good controllers. I love the Sega Saturn, not a good controller. The Sega Stunner arcade gun, though, however, is a stunner. We do love it. Getting down to business. You can use a gun, which is exciting. A gun is a cop's best friend. Unfortunately, we know that all too well, and it's good to know your friends. Your standard issue weapon is a 6-round service revolver. Using it is simple. Just take aim and fire. Fantastic. There we go. Control pad. Yeah, no. It's true, Andrew. It's true. I'm not dumb. I'm right. It is my bravest stance that the Saturn controller is junk. That's my opinion. It's junk. And I can protect myself against your harsh words with the healing factors of Spindrift. You got a 3-point shot, and that's when you shoot a guy from beyond the arc, given for hitting a single target with 3 rounds before he fades off screen. And the Justice Shot bonus is awarded for hitting the weapon arm of your target, putting him out of commission, but leaving hope for rehabilitation. We should maybe start that. Maybe we should start giving bonuses out to cops who do justice shots. I feel like we have too many people interested in the 3-point shot. You'll need a sharp eye and steady hand to make these shots, because the bad guys don't just stand around waiting for you to shoot them. They fight back with everything they got. So be careful not to shoot civilians. You lose a life marker if you do. Damaging public and private property is not encouraged by the higher-ups back at the precinct, but extreme situations call for extreme measures, so don't be afraid to blast the occasional oil drum, cash machine, or potted fern if it gets gets in your line of fire. Some objects in the background blow up when you shoot them, some may fall off walls onto unwary criminals, and others may contain power-up items. So there you go. You've got cool stuff. You got automatic bullets. You got rifle bullets. You got machine gun bullets. You got a shotgun shell, a magnum bullet, and a life marker. I think we can tell what all of those do, but just in case you can't, automatic here, it can be reloaded. Rifles carry 24 rounds. Machine gun, 30-round magazine. Shotgun spray pellets over a wide area. That's pretty exciting. The magnum, and your life up. The game screen, ammo, continue. VC1 mode, Virtua Cop 1 mode. I don't know what that means. I guess that means it's got Virtua Cop 1 in there. That's pretty exciting. Shows your total score, etc., etc., etc. Don't worry, folks. We're getting somewhere. I want to read stages. Each stage is divided into 2 segments. After completing the first half of the stage, you can choose the path to follow for the second half by shooting one of the directional signboards on screen. Excuse me. I keep getting messages because I messaged my wife and a few people about this drinkable Mapo tofu that they're talking about over at Lawson's in Japan. And let me tell you that when I found out about this drinkable Mapo tofu, I lost 30 minutes of my life to researching it today. And now I need to go to Japan to buy some drinkable Mapo tofu. If you don't select a path quickly, the left-hand path is automatically selected. I like that. See, we're just defaulting to moving left. At the end of the more you shift the game's Overton window to the left, the better things will be. At the end of every stage, you have to face off with an EVL syndicate boss and see that he's brought to justice. Stage 1, the big chase. You interrupt a jewelry heist in progress and have to secure the area. Pursue the crooks in your squad car to a blazing gun battle on the other side of town. Bull, the boss at the end of the stage, likes to throw things when he gets angry. Really big things. Bull had a tough turn after Night Court, but he's here now, and he's angry. Save the mayor. The bad guys have taken the mayor of Virtua City hostage and are holed up in a luxury ocean liner docked to Pier 10. Fight your way onto the ship and make a room-by-room search to rescue his honor before EVL can cast a very decisive ballot against him. At the end of the stage, the Aero Divers, a crack team of terrorists equipped with jetpacks and rocket launchers, plans to bar your way off the Fiesta deck. It's a lot of words. There's a lot of words here that I'm having a tough time. Raylene Shootout. Raylene is when you're in the Old West. Your wife's name is Raylene. Raylene Shootout. Follow the remaining gang members underground through the Virtua City subway system. The trail leads to a cavernous warehouse where you battle onward to a climactic confrontation with the notorious Garce Bladley in his cat tank. Okay. I hate when I have to fight Garce Bladley in his cat tank. Hopefully there's some stalactites you can shoot, as we learned from the Bad Dudes manual. So there you go. If you are you a bad enough dude to take on Garce Bladley in his cat tank? I hope so, because that's Virtua Cop 2. I don't know if we get any character. So we do. We get to learn a little bit about. We get to learn about Michael Rage Hardy. His birthday was on August 7th. Congratulations. Rage is a cop who always goes too far, so he's a cop. The troublemaker on the force and a headache for the captain. But his drive and determination make him an invaluable member of the department when things get rough. Unfortunately, Virtua Cop 2, the manual, is Copaganda. So this episode is unfortunately going to be listed as Copaganda. We got James Smarty Cools. Oh, I'm sorry, and he likes dogs. Just so you know, Rage likes dogs. Michael Hardy likes dogs. Smarty, his full name is James Cools. He was born on February 13th. His blood type is B. He likes driving. Where Rage is the #1 hothead in Virtua City, Smarty, his partner, is level-headed and cool under fire. Rage may be quicker on the draw in a gunfight, but nobody disputes that Smarty is the top shot on the force. And then we got Janet Marshall. Look at this. Her birthday is September 24th. You know who else has a birthday of September 24th? Me. Janet and I share a birthday. This is very exciting. Happy birthday, Janet. I presume you're also 42. You also like a cafe au lait. I do too, Janet. This is fantastic, but I can't drink milk anymore. I'm lactose intolerant. So I have to drink almond milk or oat milk because almonds take too much water. Congratulations to us on September 24th, 1983. That's my guess. This is very exciting. Happy birthday, Janet. Happy birthday, Ryu, to Janet. The newest member of the Virtua City Special Investigations team, Janet adds a new dimension of scientific objectivity to the war on crime. Her education and training have won her respect on the squad, and her accuracy with a gun makes her a crook's worst nightmare. Again, maybe the guns should be less of a first order of operations, but there we go. Who am I to argue with somebody born on September 24th? Also, Jim Henson was born on September 24th. So happy birthday to me, Janet Marshall, and Jim Henson. You got the credits over here. I think we might see, we got the executive producer was Manny Granillo, producer Steve Hutchins, assistant producer, somebody's going to need to work on this, Michael Joblin. You got the Sega of Japan liaison, Ryoichi Hosegawa, marketing manager, okay, and Mollering, project manager. We got managers and managers. We got Andrew Stein, creative services. Arvin Carlson, Eileen Sackman, Bob Schoenfish, and Eric Smith. Lead tester was Chris Lusich. Assistant lead testers are Howard Gibson, Jeff Sanders, Todd Sleepian, and Peter Young. And the rest of the testers are Tom Collins, Mike Dobbins, Aaron Fritz, Mark Griffin, Steve Head, Ty Johnson, Len Young, Dennis Lee, Matt Lusich, Grant Luke, Daniel Matter, Tim McNew, Lance Nelson, Steve Peck, Pedro Ponce, Matt Prescott, Malachi Rita, Abraham Shepard, Matt Underwood, Steve Wong, and David Wood. The manual writer was Douglas Sipp. Congratulations and thank you to Douglas Sipp. And special thanks to Matt Dunbar, Undine Stafford, Bernie Stolar, Matt Subotnik, Taka Shuji Utsumi, who is now the head of Sega in 2026, LAPD, and the men and women of law enforcement. Boo! This manual was gonna get a big seal of quality, but unfortunately, well, it still gets the seal of quality for everything but the end doesn't get it. The LAPD, yuck! This is like a few years too after Rodney King and everything. Get out of here, boo! LAPD. Of all police departments too. The stunner. Yeah, I'm ready to shoot my TV after reading that last part too. Very, very, very disappointment. You had me, manual. This is why we read the whole manual before we pass judgment. A wonderful manual. Janet shares my birthday. So much good in that manual. Nearly all undone. This is like the most like Democrat manual of all time, where it's like, okay, they're going to say a lot of the right things, they're going to do a lot of the right things, and then at the end, they're going to play the game on the Republican turf. Well, of course we don't want criminals in America, but this is the wrong way to do things. Idiots. Anyway. I get to write off like this episode, right? Like if anybody hasn't watched this before and they're like, man, this guy's being really arch about politics. One, I mean, I am, but two, I'm not usually quite like this, but I think I get to write this one off a little bit, right? So you can do this if you want to shoot your screen, like I think it was Elvis. You can buy the Sega Stunner, and you can also go buy Virtua on Cyber Troopers, which I think is pretty cool. So go ahead and do that. And that's going to be the manuals for today. Before I do go, I'm going to do this. I'm being normal. Thank you. Before we do this, I guess I'll just quickly talk about my dad. This is just for me. So, don't feel like you have to stay around or anything like that. I want to do that and watch a little bit of Mac and Muttley. My dad was such a good dad. He was a great guy. He was a great friend to his friends. He was so many things, but he was a very good dad. He worked a lot, and his work involved a lot of travel, but he never felt distant. He always took time out to be with me, and then later my brother when he was born. My brother's 8 years younger than I am, so there was a big gap. And he took me on some incredible adventures. So the show involved a lot of travel, as I said, around the Bay Area, but more broadly too, to places in like Australia, Hawaii, Alaska, all over the place, Europe, everything. So he went on all these adventures, but he always had time. If I wasn't with him, he always took time to call, regardless of what time it was. I remember one time getting a call from him. I was a little kid. I was watching Mystery Science Theater 3000, and I got a call from him, and he was calling from, I think it may have been like Taiwan or something like that. And this was back in the old days. This is probably the early 90s maybe. And it was one of those times where you'd call and there'd be like that long delay because, the voice had to travel through the actual wires. And so we were there, and he just sat there on a call while on a business trip, listening to me tell him about Mystery Science Theater 3000. And that was just like a moment that I'll always remember. He would take me on these trips. We'd go to Hawaii together. I got to be on shows. When I was 2, he was doing the pilot for a show that became Mac and Muttley, and I was there at Disneyland. There's old footage. I got to stay over at Alcatraz a number of times, twice. Once when I was a kid, overnight at Alcatraz, and then once more recently, he did an episode about Alcatraz, I want to say maybe 10, 11 years ago, and my wife and I went, and we were there, and just hanging out with my dad was so fun. He was such a good guy, and he loved me a ton, and I'm just so grateful that he was my dad. So I'll watch a little bit of Mac and Muttley here. It's hard to say goodbye. He had been in a lot of discomfort for the past couple of years owing to the stroke and the fallout from it. So there was a period of decline, but he was always himself throughout it. And whenever we'd go visit, he always just wanted to know what I was up to, what the kids were up to. And I know that all he really wanted to do was to go play and walk and take the kids to the park and do all that kind of stuff. So he wasn't able to do that at the end. Hopefully he's able to do some of that now wherever you go when you move on. And I hope that whenever I go, I can join him. So thank you, Dad. You're the best. I love you so much. Let's watch Little Mac and Muttley, which is just about the most 80s thing that you could possibly imagine. I chose this because I think of my dad in a lot of different eras, and they're all my dad. Right, when I'm a little kid, when I'm now, but my dad to me really is this guy from the 80s who had this kind of like hokey but lovable TV show, and this persona that was very much just him. So whenever he's on TV and he's talking to people and having a good time, that was him, and it makes me happy to see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and we'll just watch a little bit about it. I will do this, and I'm going to mute the music because that's one thing I'm going to forget to do. So I'll mute the music for a sec. I'm just going to sit and watch for a few, and here we go. Mac and Muttley. This was the 100th episode. About 2 episodes later, it was canceled unceremoniously. I think when CBS was sold from Westinghouse. So this was a show on KPAX, which is the CBS affiliate in San Francisco. And it was, then on Discovery, but it was bankrolled by CBS until Westinghouse sold them. So here we go.
Hi, everybody. I'm Doug McConnell. This is my buddy Muttley, and we have got a great 100th show celebration for you.
I was at that show and at that taping, but I don't think I'm in this one. There's a lot of me with where I'm in it, but not this one.
It's Mac and Muttley's 100th show special. And this time you'll meet the world's most extraordinary animals and animal lovers. We'll go riding, skiing, and diving with my incredible buddy Muttley. We'll go behind the scenes and find chaos, madness, and bloopers.
Do it again.
And we'll meet the people and animals who've come out to help us celebrate our 100th show.
Well, welcome to our 100th show. Well, we have some great cheers out here. Who would have believed more than 4 years ago when we started all of this that we would have, come this far, made so many great friends, right? Listen, we've had a great time. It's been wonderful for all of us, and we hope that you've enjoyed some of the greatest animal stories ever told.
Yeah, so while this plays for a second there, first of all, thank you. I'll take that. I'll take that as a compliment. I'm a Mac Jr. Mac Jr. Muttley was very cool. Muttley was not our dog, but Muttley was the pet of the producer, a guy named Gene Alba, who I believe is still out there. I was at that shoot with the orangutan, and he didn't kill any of us, which was great. But Muttley was really cool and could do all this stuff. Muttley was just really well trained and was a lot of fun to be around. We got to dog sit Muttley a number of times, and very cool. So, but this is what the show was, really. I mean, it's kind of like silly pet tricks, stupid pet tricks kind of thing. It's very much of its time, but my dad loved doing it. He got to be around animals, and as always, he would always say that you're not supposed to go up with animals or kids because you'll get upstaged. So he was being constantly upstaged, and but I think he thought that was fun. Yeah, this was. Here, I'll turn the sound back on, but this was big in the 80s.
It's almost a gift of the gods.
She thinks that I'm her mate. At least she has no affiliation with any other bird. She could care less about other pigeons. She's been approached by other pigeons and has rejected those approaches. And immediately gets back on my shoulder and has stayed with me ever since.
For Frank Saxon of Antioch, California, it's a pigeon named Samantha. Now, Samantha met Frank on his front doorstep, and since then, they've been inseparable.
Lay down, big good girl. Yeah.
Sonny, come lift.
Of course, there are remarkable tales of people and And our best friend, the dog.
So this is some stuff. A lot of the show's also going around and like nature stuff, and that's what his later show was, Bay Area Backroads, where he did trips around the Bay Area. But this was something that I think he had a lot of fun with. And then this got, what's it called? It went into syndication, and so it got syndicated on Discovery Channel, and it was like around the world. So there would be times where we'd be in somewhere random, like somewhere totally random, a totally other country, and they'd be like, "Oh, Mac and Muttley," which is nuts. Let's see. So let's just take a look. I'm trying to see if there's anything cool. Anyway, that's it. Here's some commercials.
Real secure. Finally, comfortable glasses that keep their fit.
LensCrafters will match any competitor's price.
I like watching these commercials. What else do we have?
They ruled our planet for 150 million years, then mysteriously disappeared. Now join the largest dinosaur hunt in history as scientists from Canada and China travel to the searing Gobi Desert, the Badlands of Alberta, and Canada's high Arctic in search of these primordial giants.
Whoa, this is rad. I want to watch this.
In search of answers, in search of the dragon. Sunday beginning at 9 Eastern, only on Discovery Sunday.
Where did they go? Nobody knows.
Happy 100th, Mac and Muttley.
You know, there's so many incredible animals, but if I really want to see the tops, all I've got to do is look right up here at my good buddy Muttley riding
Watch this Muttley
tall
part,
in the saddle.
and then I'll
you know,
end stream.
it is a dog's life, and Muttley is the king of the canines.
Muttley is the king of the canines.
Dogs, dogs, dogs. There are all kinds, all shapes, all with amazing talents.
Dogs,
but
dogs,
there's only one
dogs.
pooch who stands above the rest. No, not you, little fella. One Fido who's more fantastic
He's
than
like,
the
no,
others.
shut the fuck up. It's not you.
One pup that tops them all. You know who I mean.
We love Muttley.
Yep, Muttley. Now, who would have thought that this poor, abandoned pooch from a humane society would turn into such a star? A star that would attract celebrities and fans from all over the world. The true king of the canines. And what is it about Muttley that keeps them coming? Could it be perhaps that special style on the open road?
So goofy.
Maybe it's the way he conducts the band.
I remember this show. I was at this shoot.
Muttley is a skiing dog, the famous skiing dog, I presume.
Or is it Muttley's daring on the downhill?
Gonna go shred some bumps.
That guy's cool.
That's Muttley. It's a killer dog.
Then again, maybe it's Muttley's command of the waves.
Muttley's face is like, man, get me out of here.
The dog was excellent. Muttley was perfect.
I went scuba diving with a dog.
That's the one I still can't believe they got. Muttley was cool, man. Muttley
A lot
really
of
was
people
cool.
think the real reason Muttley is the leader of the pack is the way Muttley scuba dives. Now, you gotta believe that here's where Muttley shines above all the rest. And after all, how many mutts or even people can say they've dived the Caymans on the Great Barrier Reef of Belize, or gone fin to fin with cartoon great Mickey Mouse
I was there for that one.
and gold medal great Nat Biondi.
Mac and Muttley, they should bring it back.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Muttley beat us back, huh?
Quick swimmer she is.
No kidding. Olympic class, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Definitely.
This
Yes,
segment's
Muttley
longer than
is
I
the
expected.
top.
I'm sorry.
Muttley can ski and dive and, well, do
Yeah.
just about anything. But for me, it doesn't really matter what special talents Muttley has or who Muttley knows. That's just all icing on the cake. What really makes him special is that through it all, Muttley hasn't changed. Fame or fortune won't alter him. Muttley will always be my buddy. And for me, That's what counts.
And for me, that's what counts. They didn't do a montage of how awesome my dad is, but they did do a montage of him falling down.
Is this
so
chaos,
I'll watch
madness, or the making of a television show?
Let's go. Are you going to help us? Or, I mean,
All right, then we're done. I promise. You guys can bounce. I'm going to keep watching.
that's the way it is around the Mac and Mutley family. We love each other.
There's Gene Alba in the back, the producer. Oh, wait. I think that might be me. Right back there. It might not be. I think it is.
This is Alaska. Hey, look, animals.
Sure, we get to travel, meet lots of people, get close to some extraordinary animals, and generally have a great time. But what you usually get to see on Mac and Mutley is only half the story. The other half, behind the scenes, has never been revealed before. Until today. You see, the truth is, though Mac and Mutley looks right on the air, most of the time, things don't quite work right off the air. Now, television is an exercise in Murphy's Law, and Mac and Mutley is here to prove it.
Well, if you're an otter or a shark with a medical problem, who you
For instance, all those times you've seen Mutley and me tell you about an upcoming story. Now, see how beautifully Mutley stays by my side.
Okay, Mitch.
Well, here's the truth.
To get on the ground and wrestle around with puppies, and if they continue to keep walking this way, well, we're just going to keep on out here. I'll tell you what. Mutley, come here. Mutt. Station. There goes Mutley, and we'll be right back. Well, the animal kingdom is filled with many fascinating critters, including this one, who's going to walk right over here. Like a sedan DeVille, a limousine.
And you know, I'm not so perfect either. Sometimes when I talk, the words in my mouth just turn to moosh.
What happens to us when we get a little bit older? There's a little blip, 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 blip. Right, Mutley? Right, Mike? Darn.
And worse yet, I may look like a real outdoorsy kind of guy,
my dad
but
fell down a
I
lot.
can be a real danger to myself. Sometimes
He's pretty clumsy.
I've got 2 left feet.
I loved watching my dad fall down as a kid. That was one of my favorite things.
This is the end of the line.
Hell yeah, a better world is possible.
But the
We
big
could just do some
behind
cool
the
stuff
scenes
like
isn't really
hang with
what it
dogs.
takes for Mutley
Andrew
and
Elmore's
me
right.
to talk to you about the story. It's what it takes to get to the story. Our
right.
trip to Belize in Central America
I am
is
going
a
to
perfect
call it
case in
for
point.
now. I've got to go. Let's see if there's any last exciting things here. There's my dad saying goodbye. You know what? We'll say goodbye from Backroads. We'll say goodbye from Mac and Mutley, and that's how we'll end it. It's almost over. And that's how I'll end it.
There's a dog that prefers walking on 2 legs to 4.
I don't think he prefers that.
Dance, boy, come on.
And a pig that does the cha-cha. But for most of them, their biggest talent is their relationship with their humans. There are a lot of animal lovers out here, and a lot of people-loving animals, too. I mean, to get right down to it, isn't that what it's all about? Who could ask for a better crowd and a better audience? You gotta love those Mutley maniacs.
Those Mutley maniacs. All right, here we go.
These are maniacs. They're maniacs. Listen. Oh, we want to thank everybody who came out here. You guys are maniacs. Thank you very much. You're wonderful. Wonderful. Listen, we want to thank, of course, all of these people for coming out today. They've been a lot of fun. And I want to introduce a very special person here, a good buddy of mine. This is Mutley's dad and trainer, Gene Alba. Gene, it's been great.
It's been wonderful.
100 more shows at least?
At least 100 more.
Listen, we also want to thank the Bayfair Pet Center, the Greenhouse Marketplace, the City of San Leandro, California, the San Francisco SPCA, all kinds of people, and all of our maniacs, yes!
Ooh, there's a kid with a turtle shirt. Is that me?
Next week on Mac and Mutley. Bye-bye.
All right. There we go. Well,
They live among the trees.
thank you. All right, Mac and Mutley, we got it. All right. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye, Dad. Thanks so much, and have a good time. I appreciate you joining me today. Have a good one. Bye. Bye, guys. We'll go to the song.